Good morning everyone. In this video I'm going to be analysing the live price action for EU and DXY to see what opportunities there are today. You're going to see my strategy and my analysis, so if you're interested in those then please stick around. Going to start here on the daily. As always, we have EU on the top, DXY on the bottom. So what's the daily showing us? Well, yesterday we had a massive bullish engulfing day, pulling back all the way within this bearish leg here to a premium, mostly filling this imbalance. Now we still have a daily order block above, just to point out, which may still draw price. However, if we go over to our inverse on DXY, we pulled back all the way to the discount of this new bullish leg here and actually mitigated the daily order block POI. So price may or may not pull back further, right, on EU for this daily order block. However, if we do pull back further, what I would anticipate, we could possibly sweep these previous weekly lows. Now that may not happen. Price may just come down really slowly on DXY, but we could cause some sort of divergence there, right? Giving us the same bias anyway to have a strong DXY move from that area. Don't want to get too much into that. So let's just say this still exists, but this was mitigated. So we may continue that bullish trend there. However, this bullish day yesterday came from this early signal from this SMC here, where we swept the sell side liquidity below this low, creating a lower low sweep, whereas we created that lower high on DXY, which then turned out the next day to be this very bearish move on that day. Now I think we had CPI yesterday, which obviously gave that a lot of momentum. So bullish move from there. We've come back into that more of a premium, mitigated mostly this imbalance here and mitigated this POI now. So what direction is today going to go? Well, let's go down to the 4 hour and see what that shows us. So on the 4 hour, we have our bearish leg external to this internal leg here now, right? So we've got our bearish 4 hour leg where we came down, took that sell side liquidity, created that SMC divergence, and we've had that bullish move since, right? Now, bullish move back into the premium, and then we've had that bearish move back into the discount, mitigating that daily POI. Now on the 4 hour, of course, there's still further room. We may go down, but we have kind of mitigated that 4 hour order block anyway as support. So we found some support here on DXY. In regards to EU, we've gone into the imbalance in the premium, and that's provided some resistance there. We've pulled back somewhat. Now with this bullish move, we've left behind a large imbalance. Same on DXY, big imbalance. And it does look like we're pulling back at least to fill that imbalance. So the way I read it is this, in terms of bias. We've had a massive bullish move previous day, left behind an imbalance. We've gone into the premium, taken obviously plenty of buy side liquidity mitigations and whatnot. We found support here on DXY. I'm expecting lower prices, at least just to fill this imbalance here, okay, and to fill this imbalance. Whether price is going to continue its bearish move from here and create a new lower low, that I won't get into, but I would expect this imbalance here to attract price and draw price down into a discount at least, okay. So it would be with trend to go short as a bias as well, but also we happen to have a draw on price towards discount. Now whether price finds support and resistance up here, that's fine as well, but just in the short term at least, to fill this imbalance, I would expect some bearish price action. The negative factors for this are obviously that we may pull back to more of a premium to fill these imbalances and go into these 4 hour POI order blocks up here. But yeah, that's the signal I'm getting for the time being on the 4 hour, that we may have some sort of bearish pullback after this new bullish internal legs created. And I say that because on the hourly, of course, we're clearly going to have a break above this internal high here. So we're going to have a new bullish hourly leg. This is our bearish 4 hour leg, of course, our external leg, and we've broken above this high internally and created a new higher high there. So let's go down to the 1 hour and see what that shows us. Now on the hourly, as I mentioned in the 4 hour, we've got this bullish internal leg here, right? If I was to just draw that out just so it's extra clear, let's say we can use this low or this low, it doesn't really matter. We've got that leg, we're still within a premium of that leg. We have this imbalance to fill here, of course, down towards a discount, and where we may find some sort of support where these highs are and this imbalance would be filled. From what I see in price, we are just in the middle. I don't expect loads of support around this area, but maybe in the short term, like you can see, we're having a bit of a bullish run into the London Open. So price could be pulling up, seeking some sort of buy side liquidity or to fill this gap before we get a more significant pullback down to a discount. These are all possibilities. We'll see what happens. We have a bullish leg, we're in the premium. We found some support on DXY from that daily order block and we've pulled back. I do believe price would want to fill the imbalance here. So I think in the short term at least we could have a bearish move, but there's nothing to say of course, because we still have these draws up here that price can't continue bullish to our daily POI and 1 hour order block in the extreme here. We also have that 1 hour order block remaining in the extreme discount here of that external leg, so that can happen. But just concentrating on the session and on the day, I would expect to favor some sort of bearish move, but we also may have some internal bullish movement judging by how price is moving now. So I'm favoring a bearish bias to fill this imbalance here, pulling back from this premium. We're in the premium on the internal leg and pretty much on the external leg as well. So it will just be a case of where's the price action going to give us some more direction on the lower time frames. So that's my favored bias, that's what I see. But let's go down to the M15 and see what opportunities there may be for today. So unfortunately yesterday again got missed. Price didn't quite come down to where I wanted it to go to for this trade here. We swept that internal liquidity, breakout structure, pulled back, didn't quite come down to that last block. It mitigated the order block much higher and continued on its way. So what do we have here today? Well, we can see we had this overnight Asia range. Order flow still fairly bearish, right? If you can just count this as that bearish pullback, M15 making lower highs, lower lows. Obviously this is that overnight price action, so it's not super telling, but we're coming back down from that premium there. What's price done recently? Well, we've come into Frankfurt and London Open. We did not sweep that Asia low. We're having this bullish move into London Open, seeking that buy side liquidity by the looks of it. So I'm still favoring that bearish move at the moment. And I think if we come for this buy side liquidity and go with that Asia cycle of sweeping one side and going to the other because we left this side intact, then I think that would favor that bias. If we had swept these lows and started making these breaks above, there could be a case for that pullback to target this other side of Asia possibly in a short-term move, which may play out still, but it's a bit risky. So that's one to consider. But that would have looked much better if we had swept this low here. We've probably still swept on the 5 minutes some internal sell side liquidity, but it would have been much nicer if we had swept this low before breaking structure like how we have. So I'm favoring the shorts. So let me go into what a short scenario might look like for me. If we continue bullish like how we are here, I'm not sure how it's going to approach these highs, but let's say it gives some sort of pullback here to mitigate this order blocking imbalance, and then we take that high, taking this buy side liquidity, Asia buy side liquidity, and then break down. I'll be looking for that break of structure, that switch to continue bearish, right, after taking buy side liquidity to sponsor our move down, and then we pull back to our lower time frame order block and imbalance here to continue downwards bearish towards that discount to fill this POI here. Now of course this could happen from here as well. Let's not discount that. If this closes as a high test candle, that would be sweeping buy side liquidity and then breaking down, which would also be great. So either one of these closes a high test here, sweeping above these highs and respecting this Asia high by leaving it behind and breaking structure, or come above using the Asia cycle, sweeping buy side liquidity and then breaking down. So let's draw that in. Buy side liquidity, break of structure, order block and imbalance above the NY daily open as well as a sort of premium in itself. Order with stop loss just above the highs, possible inducement from the pullback there. So I'll be looking at something like this for this morning to continue with that short bias towards the draw of this imbalance here back towards a discount. Once this imbalance on the higher time frame is filled, then I'd maybe wait to see what price is doing, to see whether it's going to find support here and continue bullish or not. So I wouldn't want to trade short into too deep of that discount. So that's my bias. That's what I'm favoring. In terms of longs, maybe if the order flow just clearly breaks above here and switches, we might get something to go off of like that, right? If we get those clears, break of the highs, and then another break, maybe just to be sure, we can continue with bullish order flow towards these possible weak highs. We'll see how that goes. However, like I said, the long bias from just this middle here isn't favored. I don't think it looks high quality. There's nothing obvious to go off of apart from that we filled some of this imbalance. So I'm just going to stick with the bias of favoring those shorts here after some buy side liquidity is swept and we get that breaker structure. So I hope that was clear. I hope you gained value from that. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.